Welcome back, Nuggets. This mother clocker's got some thoughts. Let's ruffle some feathers and get into the video. And if you would like to support my baby chick of a channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hype this video if you can. And go check out my other videos while you're here. Okay, my nuggets. Now, this is kind of just a really quick video that I wanted to make while I'm working on my members only video. That's going to be the last in the Eugenia condition series that I'm doing, which is extensive and takes some time. And a lot of people have been asking me about the state of the lawsuit and why I haven't done a follow-up video and that kind of thing. And I thought rather than just responding to everyone, it might be more effective to just put out a video. So this is going to be just a very quick one to give a kind of non-update update on where we are, what we're waiting for, and what I think the timeline is going to be. Okay, so on the 1st of December, the TikTok lawyers released a status report saying that they were currently on schedule to release the Eugenia discovery documents on the 4th of December. Now, obviously, we are way past the 4th of December. And what I've been waiting for is a couple of things. One is that it takes a little bit of time for the documents, especially if there's a lot of them, to be uploaded onto the system that I'm looking at. And two, have they been uploaded but have been immediately put under a request to seal? So it does look like there has been quite a bit of movement regarding discovery and exhibits and all of that sort of thing in this lawsuit. But there's only been a couple of documents that actually reference Eugenia by name, which is what makes me think that they have been released like to the judge themselves, but they're under a request to seal. We've seen this before, and if you remember my very first video on this topic, I found the document, but it was heavily redacted, and then we found out a month later it was released in a much less redacted form. And why that is because it was released to the court in a redacted state. The judge then was able to look at it and go, yeah, no, that needs to stay redacted, but all of these other bits are fine to be released. And it does seem to be a tactic that the lawyers do by default, which is insane to me because as far as I know, there's only this one judge on this case, which means that every single document that's submitted, they're submitted under a request to seal. And so the judge then needs to himself go and look at every single one and go, yes, I agree this should be sealed because it's proprietary information or whatever, or no, this should be public information. And that just, I can't help but feel that surely there is a better use of this judge's time. But anyway, this is what we're doing. So in searching her name, in short, it's only coming up in a couple of new documents that I'll just touch on very briefly, which is what makes me think that the discovery documentation is completely sealed. So if it is sealed, it can take 1 to 2 months for the judge to actually get through it all and approve whether it's going to be continued to be sealed or whether it's going to be made public. And I imagine given the time of year that we're dealing with at the moment, where there's a lot of holidays all over the place, it might take a little bit longer. So the last document that I witnessed being unredacted happened a month after it was submitted, which would put us at the beginning of January, but I kind of think that we're probably going to be waiting a little bit longer for them to be unsealed, if they indeed get unsealed at all. But you can trust that I am keeping an eye on this, and if you're not hearing from me about it, it's because there's just been nothing new that's popped up, and I don't want to keep doing, weekly videos saying, oh no, there's nothing happened, yay, it's a little bit redundant. So I am checking these reports and new documents every single day when they come in, and I will be the first one to keep you appraised. So make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed already. So the first document that I haven't gone over is actually the unredacted version of the omnibus that I'm in the new year going to be doing a video on each of the social media platforms to show exactly what they were hiding in this, because it is fascinating and they all kind of have their own unique part to play, which is both concerning and interesting at the same time. But this was part of one of the pages that was heavily redacted. If you remember my last video, it was just pages and pages, like hundreds of pages of redacted information. So under the section for TikTok, TikTok knew its platform was harming users' mental health, sleep, and schools chose profit over prevention. They do mention Eugenia by name in one of these paragraphs, and I quote, TikTok also received explicit notice from experts of the dangers of the platform promoting conditions. Redacted, a public health specialist on adolescent conditions advised TikTok to add warning labels regarding that risk. TikTok refused. Instead, it contracted with and paid Eugenia Cooney, an influencer widely known in the conditions community for severe conditions, effectively turning her into a spokesperson for disordered behavior. Now, don't forget, this is the discovery that the plaintiff lawyers have put together. This is based on documents and interviews and all manner of different kinds of research that they've found to lead to this document being made. So this is not at all the judge saying that this is what they've been found to be doing. This is what the plaintiff's lawyers are saying been found to be doing because they have documentation on it. Likewise, she was also referenced in Exhibit 16, which was previously redacted and we couldn't see it at all. And it says, quote, even when alerted about accounts that posed risks to teens, TikTok continued to promote them. For example, Eugenia Cooney's account was repeatedly reported being problematic for its glamorizing for a profoundly, I cannot say this word, and unhealthy figure. They go on to say, and this seems to be to do with the deposition of that TikTok employee that called Eugenia a barn burner. They go on to say, in fact, her account was part of a TikTok's creator fund. Her skeletal appearance, as unhealthy as it is hard for me to look at, even as a physician. It is shameful that it was promoted. And this is part of that Dr. Bryn Austin's deposition. He goes on to say, I have seen no evidence that TikTok informed the medical community, parents, or underage users of the increased risks of conditions that arise from use of their product. This decision is particularly concerning given evidence that outside experts requested that they do so. Dr. Bryn Austin, a pediatrician at Harvard Medical School, suggested that TikTok should incorporate warning labels like access to helplines in condition-like content. Further, Dr. Austin suggested that promoting / having accessibility to condition content on Teens For You page is more likely to cause harm. At deposition, the TikTok employee stated that she was not aware of TikTok ever informing the public of the risks of conditions despite this advice. They go on to say, it is my opinion that to a reasonable degree of medical and scientific certainty, social media usage increases the risk of conditions and body image conditions in adolescence. This in part due to several design features that exacerbate social comparison, provide idealized beauty standards, and pull children into filter bubbles or rabbit holes. A review of the internal documents provides further support that defendants recognize that social media increased the risk of or exacerbated conditions, negative social comparisons, body image conditions, and low self-esteem. So it does seem quite damning in this regard, but hopefully we are going to get to see more of the discovery documents surrounding Eugenia specifically. But that is literally all I've got at this point. So it's just going to be a waiting game at the moment. Keep your eyes out for those that series that I'm going to do, one on each part of each social media platform, and definitely keep an eye out for any upcoming news surrounding this one. But if you're still here listening to me, thank you so much. Just a little short one today, my nuggets, and an extra big thank you to all of my cluckers. You truly make my world go round, and you can look forward to a video coming out very shortly, concluding that series that I'm doing at the moment. And if you would also like to support the channel or have access to ad-free content or members-only content, you can check out my YouTube memberships, or over on Patreon, I've got I've got subscriptions there as well as single purchase options also, so you don't have to sign yourself up for a subscription service. But that's all the clocks I have left to give. Stay golden, my little nuggets, and I'll catch you next time.
Hey, 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 hey! I'm gonna go watch another video. Let's go!